Back here in Michigan, we've been poring over the polls, and we got a chance to speak with the heads of both major parties here in Michigan just to get a sense of what the impact could be on the state of the race here in Michigan, as well as the path forward for both parties.
I think this really was a sham court case.
I think that, we've seen justice at work.
Shockwaves across the nation after former President Donald Trump was convicted on 34 felony counts by a New York jury. Back in Michigan, where the race for the presidency is hotter than ever, leaders are responding. The head of the state's GOP calling the case a sham.
Now, we've gone to this extreme of using the courts to try to influence an election. Very, very disappointing.
State Democrats, however, saying the law prevailed.
This is how the American justice system is designed to work. No one is above the law. We saw 12 regular American citizens do work of bringing justice, and they did it.
But one area these leaders seem to agree is that Thursday's events are unlikely to change their party's plans for convincing voters.
We're going to be talking about policies that will change when Donald Trump is president, and how those policies will help and benefit the people of the state of Michigan.
We are presenting Michiganders with a very clear choice between Joe Biden, who's had their backs, who's worked hard to bring lower costs to families, to bring jobs to Michigan, and to generally just take care of Michigan citizens and Americans, versus Donald Trump, who very clearly has been running for himself and his cronies and not for the people of Michigan and people of America.
But how could the conviction affect voters' views? We looked at the latest Epic MRA poll that asked voters back in February here in Michigan who they would vote for if the election was held that day. Back then, it was 41 Biden, 45 Trump, similar to many of the other close polls we've seen in recent months, recent weeks. That was not with any potential convictions in the question, but when they asked if Trump were convicted of one of the crimes alleged in one of his trials, that switched to 44 Biden, 44 Trump. So as this poll shows, small shift, but still in a state like this, the race couldn't have been tighter. Whether the parties do choose to keep the verdict out of the race, it's possible the magnitude of the jury's historic decision could factor in for some key voters as they go to the ballot box in November.